Hi, and welcome to Lara Waldman. I'm so happy to share my friend Lara with you. Hi, Lara, how are you?
Hi, I'm really well. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. And for those of you who've been watching some of our videos, you know Lara a little bit. She's an abundance activator. She's a super powerful healer, and she's a very kind, generous, one of the most amazing people I know. And I've met Lara a few times in real life, and I know that she's the way she shares herself online is really who she is. So very genuine and authentic. And I'm super excited to talk to you about how you use intuition and your inner guidance in your business, because I'm launching a new program, and it's really about how we can bring all parts of us and create a holistic way of doing business. And I know that you do this in a really beautiful way. So if you first want to share a bit about the work that you do in the world, Lara, and then how you infuse intuition and guidance with into your business.
Oh, brilliant. Well, yeah, intuitively led business is one of my favorite subjects. I'm really happy to be speaking to you about that today. So I am the Abundance Activator. I've been practicing as a healer for over 13 years, and I've been on this path for 20. And then more recently, I was guided to start speaking to heart-centered entrepreneurs, heart-centered business owners about money and about how to welcome more money into your life in alignment with your soul's purpose. And basically, so many heart-centered people, business owners, have stuff when it comes to money and really hold themselves back when it comes to money. And the deeper purpose of working on our relationship with money and healing our relationship with money is to allow you to show up more powerfully in your life, in your business, and really make the impact that you're here to make. And it's really through the practice of developing self-worth and self-love. So for me, money equals love. Money equals empowerment. And it's a vehicle for you to just experience an extraordinary life and create an extraordinary business.
Yeah, I love that. And I also took your abundance activation course this year, and it's been amazing because there's so much underneath the money stuff, right? And I realized that for me, it really was linked to how I embody and express my purpose. Because as long as we have money as the excuse to not write the book, not create the program, not, spend sometimes the money we need to spend to develop and grow our businesses, we're always keeping a little bit small, right?
Totally. And it's really, in a way, just an excuse to stay hidden, keep yourself small. And I know it feels so real, like lack of money feels so real, doesn't it? But my whole thing is let's not let money be the excuse and kind of bust through all that. And ultimately love yourself enough to just live an amazing life,
Yeah, I know. For me, one of the breakthroughs was really that I don't have to need to have more money, but I'm allowed to ask for it because I would like to, because it would make my life more fun, and I could do more things I love. I could share with more people, and instead of waiting for someone else to, I guess, share the abundance in the world in a good way, we can receive it and we can share in a way that feels conscious and heartfelt. Right? We can create programs where we can do things to help other people. It doesn't have to be like that greedy, all for me because I feel that I'm lacking. It can be really generous, right? Because we receive and then we can also give more.
Absolutely. And that's why I like supporting conscious entrepreneurs, because everyone that I speak to wants to make a difference in the world and wants to share the love, essentially. But first we need to fill ourselves up and then go out and share all the excess overflow goodness with the world.
Yeah, exactly. It's so interesting. I love the depth of the money work that you do too, because I find that once we start getting triggered by the deeper stuff, like our deeper woundings, it's so important to have the right person to support you through that, or the right group of people to support you through that, because that's when it starts, becoming challenging, and kind of dive through all the fears and all the stuff coming up first. So it's so important to have the right support so we don't just kind of stay stuck in that. And so I know that you're very good at listening to your guidance and using your intuition in your business, although you do know quite a bit about business. Can you share a bit how you do that? How do you find the balance between marketing strategies or the marketing tools that you have and the business knowledge and your guidance?
Very good questions. Well, yeah, and it's, there's a lot to all this stuff, but simply, I've been really connected to my intuition for a long time now. And when I became a healer, that was through intuition. So when I started meditating, I started getting messages. And I made a promise to myself 13 years ago that I would always listen to my intuition. And it's never failed me unless I didn't listen to it. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I should have listened. And there's been a few moments where I've made choices that weren't really in alignment, and I really learned, oh yeah, I need to listen to my intuition. So every time I followed my intuition, it's led me to greatness. It's led me to beautiful things, even though most of the time I don't understand why. And so there's a lot of trust involved with following my intuition. And when I started looking at my relationship with money, because I was struggling financially as a healer, I started getting guidance, messages, intuitive knowing. My intuition comes to me in all sorts of ways, like vision, I hear voices, and I get this inner knowing, the clear cognizance. Mm-hmm. But I started getting nudges, for example, to make YouTube videos and, write and do all this stuff that actually terrified me really, really badly. And I can't even remember how long it took me, but eventually I finally decided it was time to sit down and do this video because I've been being told for so long. I don't know about you, Karina, but sometimes I get the message over and over again before I actually do it, like writing a book, which I got for 7 years, and I'm finally doing it. But basically, it was lots of little baby steps. So my intuitive guidance led me to actually have a more successful business. So I was like, what would it take to make more money, and what would it take to make the impact I know I'm here to make? And then I was led towards the business stuff. Mm-hmm. So then I was guided to work with a business coach. I kind of followed a number of business coaches for a few years, and then it became super clear when the right one showed up for me. And then, so the videos was one of them, but then I was sending out a blog, and then I got the message, I was sending it once a month, and it was like, now I said, how much should I be sending out this blog, for example? And I got once a week, and I was like, what? That's way too much. My head was thinking, that's too much. People are going to feel like that's way too many. But I would just trust and follow and just, okay, I'm doing it once a week. So that's how now I use my intuition 100% of the time, because what happens for me is that I have lots of thoughts and ideas and beliefs that aren't always in alignment with the bigger picture of my business and my life. And every time I tune in, every time I ask questions, I get the most clear, concise, focused, and actually really pragmatic guidance about what to do in my business. Mm. And what happens for me is that my default is I get so many ideas because I'm very dialed up to a lot of energies, but I find grounding harder. So what happens is I get tons and tons of ideas, and I go into overwhelm quite easily. So I have to really stop every day and ask, okay, what is the next best step here? And then when I ask, it's like, boom, this, boom, that, boom, that. And it's so clear. And it's so funny because it's often the thing that I'm most scared of as well.
Yeah.
The thing I've been resisting the most is the thing I'm like, I get told, yeah, do that. So there's lots to it. So now with my business, because I have worked with a lot of business coaches now, and I've studied lots of business building strategy, and it's all great. But also my guidance has been recently leading me into a different way of doing business. And it was like, okay, Lara, that's all great. Like, that's all, you needed all that stuff that was really giving you that kind of masculine boost to get out there and face your fears. But now I'm really being invited to take kind of a step back from some of that kind of pushing, forcing, masculine way of building a business. It's not really in alignment with me, but there's parts of it that are great. So now it's like, yeah, do that, integrate that tool, but find a different, your unique way and your unique energy of running your business. So that's what's been coming in more recently, is like drop this whole, because a lot of the business coaching is quite masculine, I find. And it's just that energy is not resonating with me at the moment. So it's kind of like a dance, isn't it, Karina, where you're like, you think you, like what comes in one moment from my intuition changes. Like it might change even the next week.
Yeah, it's fascinating how that works. And I love how you said that too, because it's true that most of the marketing advice that we get is quite rigid, and you do this and different steps. And sometimes as intuitives or sensitives or creative people, it just doesn't quite fit. And so how do you find that? And I guess that's really tuning into your guidance, and that's always going to be unique. Even if there are things that we do in a similar way, it's really coming back to our voice, because it's like there's so many voices and there's so many ways of doing that. It's really coming back in and asking. And yeah, I love how you described that, getting lots of ideas, because either you stay in that and you just buzz around and you get burnt out, or you run around and you don't really get the results you want, or you stop and you actually, I think that we always know what we need to do. It's just we're avoiding it, especially if it's like, because usually for us, it's going to be stepping more into your purpose, embodying more power, being like more the leaders or the teachers or the mentors that we are. And that's pretty scary stuff, right? Because sometimes that's not really why we start our business. We want to help people, we want to support others, but it's like this business journey is guiding us to all the, I guess, the scariest stuff that we can imagine, right?
Absolutely. Well, I think on a soul level that our businesses, so we're here to serve other people and help other people, but this is so about our own self-development and self-growth at the same time. There's no way I would have grown in the way that I have if it wasn't for my business, because I've had to step up in ways, like, I don't know, that YouTube video thing, it was the scariest thing I'd ever done up until that point, or one of. And now it's nothing. Now I do it all the time and I love it. It's one of my favorite things. But it's like, it's that fear. There's fears that you face, or there's doubts that you face, or insecurities, or feeling like you're not good enough. And those are the voices of the ego mind. And our intuition will always, well, my experience is that the intuition will always lead you to greatness, and always lead you to making choices in alignment with your soul's purpose, in alignment with the soul of your business as well. And it's always beautiful, and it's always actually quite simple too. Like, doesn't the mind love to create craziness?
Yes.
Mine does.
I know, usually it's like one sentence, you go, oh, you mean I'm not supposed to do the most complex sales funnel?
Yeah, or even just like, for me, it's the energy behind which I'm doing things. So often it's just like, chill, girl. It doesn't matter. Like, it's all good, you know. Oh yeah, chill, you know. Stop taking yourself so seriously, you know. Oh yeah, this is.
Yeah, I used to hear my guidance saying like, go out and have fun. Like, go dancing with your friends. Do things that give you joy. And I'd be like, no, I have work to do. I can't just go. It used to annoy me so much. And now I'm like, okay, I get it. Because every time I would, you know, I'd hear it, and I'd be like, and then I'd finally surrender. Because usually when there's guidance coming through, nothing is working for us, right? No clients, nothing is moving. We're working harder and harder and harder, doing what we've always done. And at some point, I guess we just give up. We go, okay, fine, I'll just go and play. And then the great idea comes through, and then we get back into our flow, and we go, oh, I don't live on Facebook. I actually have my own life. I have things to channel, right? We come back with inspiration, and I guess when we communicate that, what people feel is the energy coming through us. And when we feel overwhelmed and that something is too hard, then that's what we give out. And that's when people kind of pull back, because they don't want that energy. And when we come back to our computers writing or sharing a YouTube video where we're, you know, really joyful and we feel happy and there's something really expansive, that's when people intuitively get in touch and things start happening. And for me, I've been experimenting a lot with that too. And it's just so interesting. And I know there's something magical in that. And that is the real work. It's not working harder and doing more. And I find that even for people who become successful doing that, it's like then they build their success on something that isn't sustainable, and they always have that feeling of something missing, because it's like they're part of their soul. It's going, this is not like, it doesn't have to be so hard.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, you might be driven by that energy. Might, like, it could be money, it could be making a certain amount of money, or it could be a certain level of success, or how we think we need to be running a business. And then I know the people I speak to that have reached that, they've reached their 6-figure or 7-figure income, and there's still that feeling like something's missing.
Yeah.
And actually feeling exhausted, and maybe not spending as much time with their family or for themselves. And that doesn't feel good. So I think, like, I know you and I, Karina, are on a similar vibe. I'm trying to like really be in alignment with yourself while you run your business. And like how to listen to because your intuition is not going to lead you to burning yourself out. Your intuition is not going to tell you, work harder. It doesn't say that. It's usually like what mine always says, follow the joy.
Yeah.
Mine always says, follow the joy. And I'm like, yeah, joy. Yeah, I get it. But no, it's really about, if you're not in joy, this is at least how it comes for me. If you're not in joy, then you've fallen out of alignment. You've fallen out of the flow. So now I know that if I'm in a place where I'm like stressed or feeling in lack or feeling like overwhelmed or low energy, I know that I've fallen out of the flow because I'm not in the energy of joy. And then when I'm in the energy of joy, things just go boom, boom, boom. They kind of fall into place. So my practice is about how do we reconnect to that energy? And that might be, going out in nature. Oh, I wish I could go swim in the lakes that you swim in, Karina. It looks so amazing.
You should come.
It's amazing. Because I live in London, so it's a bit more tricky. But still, I've got my park to go and walk in, or I exercise, meditate, connect in with my lovely friends, do all the stuff that makes you feel good, to come back in and then get back into the flow again. So I feel like our intuition's always trying to get us into the flow with our higher self, with our soul. And it's just our poor little ego selves that struggle with that sometimes, hey?
Yeah, they do. Or sometimes if we are surrounded by people who work really hard, and then we feel a bit bad. I feel guilty sometimes. I'm like, lying in my garden going, oh, I'm working, and there are people actually going to work and being away for a long time. But then this is what I chose. This is exactly what I called in, and it's okay to ask for that. And I guess seeing that more as inspire maybe other people who don't have that, or who don't think it exists yet. And how do you feel? I don't know how much you connect with people who are not in the like online entrepreneur lifestyle kind of business. How does that feel? And you live in a big city too, like with the real people who go to work really early and commute for hours. And like, how do you find your place in that? And how do you find, I guess, the courage and the not determination, but like the willingness to keep staying on your path and doing what you do, even if maybe not everyone does that around where you live?
Yeah, good question. Well, one of the ways that I've done that is to just be so mindful about where I focus my energy, who I'm hanging out with, what I'm doing. I make sure that the majority of what I'm choosing is in alignment with my path in my life. So I'm in my own happy little bubble, but
yeah.
But my guidance has very much been about coming into the world and being part of the world. So it's not about removing myself from the world. Although I did that. I absolutely did that for years. And then my guidance was very much, you need to like come out of hiding now and start showing up, being more visible. It's okay to go into town,
Yeah.
But for me, it's all about the daily practice of stopping, going within and listening to my intuition. Because there's days where I wake up, I'm like, what am I doing? Where it just feels like it's weird. It doesn't happen very often now, but occasionally I'll still get this rush of fear, or this rush of, oh my God, I don't even know what I'm doing. Am I making all of this up? Like, is this just some crazy dream here?
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's often actually when things are going really well in my business, this will happen even. So for me, it's really about reconnecting every day. And sometimes I have to do this a bunch of times in the day, where this is where I stop And, you know, you talked about going out and playing. Well, yeah, because when we stop, that's when we can really listen and hear. So it's the letting go. And I'm not always good at doing this, but I try to do it at least once a day, if not twice a day. And I just stop. I have to sit and meditate, or I lie down on the floor and I go, okay, just get out of the way. All the fear, all the doubt, all the overwhelm, all the, this is so important, all the gotta do. I let it go. And sometimes that takes maybe 10 minutes or whatever. I lie there until I feel the stillness, and then the intuition starts coming in. It's like, boom, do this, do that. And it's just clear, loving. It's never fear-based. It's super straightforward. There's no drama.
Yeah.
And I go, there it is. And like, that's what I wait for, to know what action to take. Because otherwise it just gets kind of messy, and it drains my energy. So when I'm not moving from that place, it actually makes me feel more uncomfortable now, because I've been doing like this intuitively led life for so long. But if I'm not, it makes me feel quite unsettled, because I don't like feeling out of the flow now. So I've almost become like, I'm used to feeling good essentially, but that doesn't mean I still fall out of the flow. So it's not about perfection. Like, oh, you know, for me, Monday's often this kind of coming back to myself, because the weekend with the kids, and like it can all be a little bit all over the place. But yeah, just taking that time, because otherwise, especially in London, there's just so much going on. There's so much energetic noise, and there's so much going on for everyone. And I have to find my happy place within. Otherwise, I'll just feel like getting bashed around by all the different energies.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. And I love how you share how, you know, it's not like at some point you get it and then you've gotten it. You're fine. It's like always coming back. And then it's a daily practice of first maybe not feeling great so often, and then more and more. And then you create this habit, and it's good to feel good, right? Even it doesn't mean things are perfect. It just means you feel good inside. And so when stuff happens, I find you can more easily come back to your center. And when you're not, you go, wow, okay, I'm really not centered anymore, and then you can bring yourself back. Well, I think before it was more we didn't really know, right? We were just kind of in the flow and not in the flow, and it's like it felt a bit random. For me, it felt a bit random, and now it's like you kind of see things, and it's just so much clearer. And I find that I can experience more joy now, because I'm more present probably and more grounded, instead of just kind of, I don't know, just floating around. But I think it's really awesome. I really admire people who live in big cities and can stay that centered, because I know for me, I love London. I think it's a great city, but I do a few days and I'm like constantly clearing my energy, staying in my bubble, and then I get home and I'm like, wow, that was really intense.
Yeah, it's especially intense if you're a tourist, because I have my own home and my own little like my home's my sanctuary for sure. But it's so interesting, because I'm from Vancouver, Canada. I'm from this most beautiful place in the world, if you haven't been there. And then I moved to London, and London has been my greatest teacher, because I did not want to live here. I didn't want to live here the whole time I was here. And it was 9 years of suffering being here. I finally got the intuitive guidance. And it was like, Lara, you know, basically I was told that London was a reflection of myself, and it was about me finding peace and deep connection within. So because I grew up with the mountains and the sea and nature, it's quite easy to clear your energy and feel connected. Yeah. But what I got was, if I can be connected and grounded and present in London, I can be that anywhere. And so London has really been my greatest teacher. And it took me quite a long time to get that and realize it doesn't matter. I'm still connected to the earth, even when I've got the concrete beneath me. And I realized I can still receive deeply from Mother Earth, and I can still receive deeply from all these beautiful energies. So that's what it taught me. But that was my intuition telling me that, because seriously, my personality self still doesn't want to be here. But it's like, you know, I'm here, so let's just show up fully. And I think this is about all aspects of our business and our life, especially when we're sensitive. You know, there's a part that's like, oh, it's intense, you know, it's intense being on the planet. And yet we chose to be here. And so our intuition is going to guide us to really embody life, really show up for life, because that's kind of why we chose to be here. And that's what I found, is there's been a part of me that's pulled out of life and wanting to stay in my happy place bubble. And it's like, actually, the time is to show up, and the time is to share, and the time is to like receive the most possible from this physical reality. And that's also been a big piece that my intuition has been kind of guiding me to. And I feel like that's for everyone. Like, we need to kind of fully show up now.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's so great because it's like if you can stay centered and find a still place inside you, no matter what's going on outside, no matter where you live, that to me that's one of the key things. And also to embrace what is instead of fighting against it, because it's like, oh, I shouldn't be here. It shouldn't be like this. Well, it is right now. And unless you can choose something else in that moment, how about seeing this as the perfect place to be where you're learning, which I think changes completely the focus, doesn't it? Instead of being like, oh, I wish my husband was more like this. I wish my house was more like this.
Yes.
And then you have that resistance and you're fighting against something that feels unfair, not right. Instead of saying, okay, well, if this is coming to me now, and if I'm in this situation, how can I make the most of it? And why am I here? And what am I here to learn? And I know that for me, when I changed that thinking, it's just shifted so many things for me. And now when stuff comes to me and I feel like I'm not ready, and I go, well, if it's coming to me now, it's because I'm ready. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm embracing it, and I trust that if it's here, then I have what it takes to step into that, which I think is really exciting too, because that means we have so much. I guess it just softens us, doesn't it? And opens us up to actually trusting that life is here to teach us what we need to teach. And when we embrace that, as much as we can, of course, some things are more challenging than other. I think that makes us grow more than when we just try to hide and only find the nice people and only find the good places. Because sometimes I do workshops and stuff, and like we're in the middle of a city and you can hear the traffic. And it's so funny because then some people will be like, oh, I couldn't meditate because, I could hear the cars. And I'm like, well, there's always going to be something. So of course you hear them, but how about you focus on why you're here? Because otherwise something's always going to distract you, and you don't have to wait for the perfect moment where everything is perfect. Because if we do that every time we want to meditate, like we don't meditate that often, do we?
No, especially if you live in London.
Yeah.
There's like constantly like sirens. And every time I try to record a meditation, I'm so aware of it because there's always some kind of like loud noise. So you definitely have it's not letting all that stuff be an excuse why you can't be happy. I think why you can't go within, and there's always something more that we can want or strive for. I'm having this real sort of awareness of this right now because I am the Abundance Activator, and I'm all about expansion and saying yes to more, and so saying yes to lots of money and amazing lifestyle and all this stuff, but also it is about really dropping into where you are now and having gratitude for where you are now and being present with where you are now, because if fighting that doesn't allow you to get to what you want. And I don't know, I was watching this amazing documentary last night about the refugee crisis, and following these people traveling from Syria trying to get to the UK. I was watching this last night. I was just like, I don't know, so much emotion, but also holy crap, Lara, be so grateful for what you have. Wherever you are, there's going to be someone who has more, and there's going to be someone who has less, and there's going to be someone who's struggling more, and there's going to be someone who's struggling less. And I just felt like, sometimes we can get caught into this trying to be perfect or wanting it better or having suffering or feeling like a victim. And yet it's so important. Part of this is so about this presence of where you are now and having total acceptance and gratitude for the things that are here. And I find that actually can set us free to actually create what we want. But if we're constantly trying to create this perfect environment or feeling like it's not quite right, that just leaves us in pain and suffering. So I sort of slightly gone off on a tangent, but it came in so strongly last night that it's yes, ask for more with manifestation. Yes, take those next step forward, but please be in the joy and enjoy the journey and be so thankful for what is now and present with what is now, even though it might be really difficult. because like that is where we find the magic, I think.
Oh, I love that. And I think it's so true. And for me, when I took your abundance activation course, I was it was hard for me to wrap my head around the whole money thing. And if I'm asking for more, then I'm not grateful. Or if I'm asking for more, it means I'm asking for more than what I need. And there are people who need maybe what I have now, right? Which is like, a safe place to live and clean water and food every day. And it was really difficult for me to ask for those things. And that's why it was so good that you explained the whole thing about like, you can be super grateful. And actually, the more grateful you are, the more you can open up to call in more beautiful things, not because you need them, just because you're asking. And the abundance is everywhere. It's life, right? A tree doesn't go, oh, I'll just make 3 apples because, people don't need more than that. It just gives and gives and gives and gives, and it overflows. But there's no waste because people are going to eat them and animals are going to eat them, and the rest is going to be, going into the earth. And it's just that overflow and the eternal abundance of life. And when we tap into that, there's really something magical in that. And that can be in a difficult moment when we're suffering and all we can do is come back, like when we're suffering physically and all we can do is come back to our breath and be like, I breathe in, I breathe out, and I relax so that I can find a moment of not so much pain in the pain. It doesn't have to be the euphoric, like everything is amazing kind of joy either. And I think it's such a beautiful journey, isn't it? It's just deeper and deeper.
Incredible. And it's kind of not what it seems. Like, especially like the money stuff. It's not really what it seems, but it really is about choosing it in the moment. Because what I found is, suffering, most of it is in the mind. And when we're really present in the now, a lot of it melts away. And then when we like melts away the suffering, the pain and suffering, or drama or trauma or whatever we're creating, not saying that what you're going through isn't real on a level, but there's also a choice with how we respond. When we find that stillness and that peace, then we tap into this thing we're calling intuition, right? Where we're actually then going to get the guidance of what is the next step to change your reality. When we're in the pain and suffering, like, I can't stand this, like, give me a better life, It's not going to come in from that place. It's going to come in from the place like, right now I'm at peace. Right now everything is perfect and everything's whole, and I'm grateful. And like, show me what else is possible. What's the next best step? And from that place, the magic opens, doesn't it? So,
I love that. We could talk about this for hours, right, Lara?
We could, and we probably are already.
Yeah, probably. Well, I really want to thank you, and because I love what you share, and I love how you share it, because there's so much joy, and there's so much like a big sense of like play and adventure in how you teach really profound and sometimes really, really challenging things. And I love that. Like, I'm not very much for the very serious spiritual teachings where, it's quite rigid, I find, for me. So I love that. And also, I'm super happy that you're going to be one of the guest teachers in my new program, Embrace Your Purpose. It's an intuitive business program for conscious entrepreneurs. And it's something I love. And I know that you're great at, finding a good balance in your business. And I find that it's such a great way to do business in a way that feels joyful, aligned with who we truly are, where we don't have to sacrifice any parts of us in order to have businesses we love. So businesses that thrive on the outside and feel great on the inside too. So you'll be talking about money and abundance and how to attract the things that you long for in your business. And I'm super happy that you're going to be doing that, Lara, because it's going to be awesome and like live interaction. And I know that your work is super powerful and loving and just so expansive, and I'm sure everyone's going to really enjoy that. So thank you for coming.
You're so very welcome. And can I say, Karina, that I'm so excited about this course that you've created as well, because I know, your beautiful purpose and your great gifts, and it's really, really, and I can feel the energy of what this is. And what's so cool is I know that you've been intuitively guided to create this, and it's really needed, and it's so important. So having that soulful-led business, and Karina, you live and breathe what you teach, and it's really beautiful. And I think it's incredibly important, especially for this sort of where we're going with business, you know, heart-centered businesses. It's this information that you're teaching and the space you're providing is really needed. So thank you for creating it for us.
Oh, thank you, beautiful. It feels like all of my favorite things wrapped up in one, and all the things that I use that bring me so much joy. And I know my clients that I've worked with one-on-one have really enjoyed using these, because it's like, it's not complicated, right? It's like, it's simple tools, but it's like being present. And then I feel also the accountability when you're in a group, right? Because it's going to be like a mastermind as well. And just having support from others. I mean, I see the women in my groups and how they rise together and how they lean into each other. And it's like they get to share their wisdom and they get to receive from others. And there's something so beautiful about that, and really for empowering others. It's not like I'm the teacher and I've got it all figured out, right? And everyone's learning from me. It's more really that exchange and connecting and helping each other grow. And yeah, it's just so beautiful to be able to do business like this. It feels like it's really kind of revolutionary, doesn't it? Like how we create our lives. When I talk to people outside of the entrepreneur, you know, space where we are, it just feels like it's a completely different way of working, right? And it's so wonderful to be a part of that and to be able to support each other. Absolutely. So really exciting. And also, Lara, I would love for you to tell everyone where they can find you. There are links below this video as well, but where they can find you and how they can work with you if anyone wants to work more with Lara. She's amazing. I've been receiving healing, abundance activation sessions from Lara for quite a while now, and it's been amazing. Like, it's been great for my business, great for my life. Yeah, just such a great way to work. So how can people find you and work with you?
Oh, that's so lovely, Karina. So there's a few ways. I have a website, larawaldman.com. And I've got, you know, a free report there. You can sign up for a free session with me as well. I offer these abundance activation breakthrough sessions, which are totally free and quite powerful. And that's the way that if you want to have it, like, kind of talk more and find out a little bit more about what I do, that's another nice opportunity. We put a big spotlight on your relationship with money, and you can find that on my website. And I've got YouTube videos under Lara Waldman. I've got lots out there. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I'm sort of in lots of places at the moment, so you can find me on social media or my website.
Thank you so much, Lara. And yeah, your videos are amazing. So many shorter and longer videos on really specific topics, and guided meditations and free healing sessions through video. And they're really, your energy is so clear and very loving, very beautiful. So I really encourage you to go and check out her YouTube channel and her website. And the sessions, of course, are amazing.
Thanks, babe. And I just want to ask you, like, if people want to find out more about your program as well, what do they do? What do we do to find out more about your thing as well?
So it's on my website, and I put it right the banner at the top so everyone can find it right away. It's like, so my website is karinaladet.com, and then it's Embrace Your Purpose. So there's a really long, I've tried to be quite detailed about the program so that you can feel into if it's right for you or not. Practical and energy tools, and just the mix of everything so that you have like that holistic approach. And then, of course, I'll be talking about it so much in the coming weeks on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere. Because it's like, as usual, I find with these programs, it's like I receive the guidance to create them. And then I go, oh, this feels really awesome. And then I go, wow, the energy is really powerful. And then I start becoming like, and then I receive the initiation to actually lead the program. And you know how it is, you receive guidance and there are things coming up, challenges. And I'm like, okay, so this is actually my program. And so I have to learn these things in order to be able to teach them, which I find is so beautiful, because it just shows how our purpose is so linked to something much bigger. And it's business, but it's also us and our communities. And I love that. And when we say yes to that and we surrender, it's just this beautiful, magical journey. So thank you so much, Lara. It's been wonderful. And do get in touch with me or with Lara if you want to, you know, find out more about us or connect with us. We're friendly, right?
Oh, thank you, Karina.
And thank you so much for watching, and let's connect soon.
Yes. Look forward to hearing from you.
Yay! Bye.
Bye.